Hey friends, it's Len here at 1A Auto. Today we're working on our 2004 Volvo XC90. This is the all-wheel drive. We're going to be doing a front brake job. It's going to be super simple. I can do it, you can do it too. As always, if you need these or any other parts, you can always check us out at 1aauto.com. Thanks. Okay friends, so just a quick note, we're going to be doing a lot of videos and replacing parts on this particular vehicle. So if you happen to notice in the video that you're watching, all of a sudden the part just is brand new and it wasn't brand new before, odds are we cut out, we were doing another job, we replaced that part, we cut back in, and we're just showing you the stuff that you need to know to be able to do your particular replacement. Okay friends, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen up the wheel. I've got my vehicle supported from the ground, but the wheel's still touching so that it can't spin while I do this. I'm just gonna use my 19 millimeter. I have a thin wall socket on there so it can squeeze in between the rim and the lug nut. I'm just gonna break it free. It's a tight one. That's the reason for doing it while it's still on the ground. If you try doing this up in the air, the wheel of course is going to spin. Okay, so I've got 3 out of my 5 lug bolts out. This is what they look like right here. They screw directly into the wheel bearing. So once you take off this one right here, and then you go to take this one off, there's going to be nothing holding this wheel on. So you need to pay attention to that. I'm just going to take this one lug here, lug bolt, put it in a couple threads, and that's just so the wheel won't be able to come off and potentially hurt me. Push my wheel up against, just grab it. I'm holding the wheel so it can't fall down at this point. And we'll just grab it off and set it aside safely. Okay, so now it'll be time to push back the caliper. Some people would like to open up this right here. This is your bleeder screw. Other people won't even open this up. It really depends on what you want to do. You do you, boo-boo. To show you what I'm talking about with the pry bar, let's go right in here. Try to find something to pry on. And then just get this to go. Just like that. Now we got it so our caliper can move around. So when we put new pads in there, they'll have plenty of room to be able to squeeze in. Now that we have this pushed back, we can move ahead to the next step. Okay, so we have these little covers. They're hollow. There's one right here. There's one right up here. And that's just for the caliper sliders. They protect them from moisture and debris and all that. And they're very easy to pop out. You can just use your pry bar or a screwdriver or whatever you want. And then we'll come in here and we're gonna take out these sliders. They should be an Allen head, 7 millimeter. So this is what your Allen looks like. It's the shape of a stop sign, 7 millimeter. There we are. Almost out. It's unscrewed completely at this point. It's just in the rubber. And normally I would just leave it in at this point. But I want to show you what it looks like. So I'll just grab my pliers. Try to pull it out of here. There we are. So this is the slider. This portion right here goes in and out inside the boot. And this part right here screws into the bracket. So we'll set this aside and we'll grab the second one out. There it is, second one. Same as the first. We'll make sure we clean these up good before we reinstall them. Okay, so for this I'm gonna use my pry bar and a screwdriver. And we're gonna take out this clip right here. To do that, I'm gonna use my screwdriver, get right in here. I'm gonna twist and pop that right out of there. If I had a third hand, I could have caught it, but it is what it is. That's what it looks like. There's a little tab right here. It slides down in here. This thing right here just flexes, and that's what holds it. Okay, we'll set this aside. Okay, so now we'll just grab our caliper, give it a little wiggle. This is one giant caliper. I don't know if I've seen one this big for something like this, but okay. So here's what we're dealing with. We've got our pads in here. Should probably just slide right out. There we are. Got these little clips. They just sit in there, so that's what was holding it. We'll set it aside. Grab this one. Same thing. Set that aside. Now we're gonna put this up here for now, and I'm gonna grab something to hold it so it can't dangle. All right, we'll just get this hanging. Put it right up on the coil. Hopefully, there we are. That's just so we're not hanging it off of the flex hose. This is a giant caliper, it probably weighs quite a bit, and we don't want to put any tugs on our flex hose. I'm going to use my 18mm socket with a nice long ratchet. And we're going to remove this bolt right here and this bolt right here. Oh yeah! Try doing that with a short ratchet. Once they break free, it's easy peasy. There's our caliper bolt. And this one. I'm holding the bracket, of course. Bolt number 1 and bolt number 2. Both look the exact same. Looks like we have some thread locker on there, so I'll make sure I clean that off before I reinstall. And then, of course, it would be your prerogative if you want to use thread locker in the end. So there is a difference with the pads, and the difference would be the clips right here. You could tell the difference. This one, of course, has a much bigger clip, and that sits inside of the caliper piston. And then this one right here has smaller clips. They sit in that little hole on the outside of the caliper, and it's got the little thing for the piton to go through. Okay? Just wanted to show you so when we go to reinstall some new pads, you'll remember which is which. So we're just going to remove this right here. I'm going to use my 10mm on my ratchet. That's holding the rotor on, okay? Because generally speaking, most wheel bearings have studs that come out, and that'll hold the rotor from falling off on you. This one, not so much. It also helps keep the rotor from moving around on a new install, and that way there you don't get any rust and debris behind there. So there's what our little mounting bolt looks like. It's very small. We don't want to lose it because we need it. So here we are, friends, a quick product comparison for you over here. Over here, we have our original front brakes out of our 2004 Volvo XC90. We just removed them, super easy. And over here, we have our brand new quality 1A Auto parts. These are performance parts. They're drilled and slotted. This is for dust dissipation and also heat distribution. Okay, it's gonna distribute the heat, try to get it out and away from the rotors so your brakes don't overheat under heavy braking situations, okay? You're going down a long hill, you just climbed Mount Washington, whatever it is you're doing, these are going to be able to cool down nice and easily for you, and you're not going to end up with something like this. Hard spots on your rotors. This is very bad. What happens is once this starts to build up right here and your rotors heat up from braking, it swells. As this swells and your pad comes around, bump, bump as it goes around, right? So that happens, you're going to feel boo in your steering wheel. You ever be driving down the highway or anything like that? You go to step on the brakes and you feel boo out of your steering wheel. That's because of something like this. Hard spots on your rotors due to the rotors not being able to cool down the way that they're supposed to. Okay? So, like I said, we've got drilled and slotted rotors here. We've got quality brake pads for you to install. They've got the same clips that you're looking for. Remember, this is the front one. It's got the nice little thing for your piton to go through. We got the clips where it goes into your caliper, holds it in nice and tight. And of course, they've got the little thing in the center there. That's to help with dust and air and everything like that. We'll set those down. As you can tell, these are quality parts. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't want to install them into the vehicle, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. If you need these or any other parts, you can always check us out at 1aauto.com. Thanks. Okay, so now it's time to clean up this hub. We just got the rotor off. We want to make sure when it's time to put on the brand new rotor, this is as clean as can be. You want it to look almost new. If you can get it new, booyah. All right, so you can go with a couple different options here. You can use something like this. We sell it right on 1aauto.com. It's got a little sanding blade on here. Cleans it up nice. You can go like that. That looks great. Or if you got all day and you're not really doing anything, you just want to spend some time outside or in the garage, you can go a little brush. This is also available on 1aauto.com. Works just as good. There we are. That looks pretty great. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put on a little bit of copper never sees here. That's just going to help the rotor come off. If you ever have to take it off again someday, 60,000 miles or whatever, maybe you want to do another brake job. We've got our quality 1A Auto rotor here. This is where that little bolt's going to go through, and it's going to go through any one of these holes, so you don't really have to worry too much about that. Let's get this up on here, get our little bolt. Okay, it's just a small bolt, so I didn't need to go out here and give it like a bonk, 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 try to break it off in there. It's not about breaking things, it's about getting the job done. So the rotor's on, let's move ahead to the next step. All right, so now we'll grab our caliper, grab our handy tool there. Okay, so here's the inside of our caliper area. This is the piston, the muscle. Just make sure there's no moisture coming out from around there. That would mean there's a bad seal. This looks good. Some of this stuff's a little rotted and flaking here, but it really doesn't look like it's too bad. Nothing that I would worry about. Right back here is where the rubber boot is, where your slider's gonna come through. There's one right there as well. The sliders, when you look at them, you'll notice that the top one's gonna be a little longer than the lower one. So in case you look at them and you're like, oh no, this is what we're dealing with. The top one's gonna be the long one, the lower one's gonna be the shorter one, okay? It's pretty easy. I'm just gonna set this like this, and I'm gonna use some little bit of silicone paste, or you can use brake lube, probably be better. We'll go with that. I like this because it's darker, and you know, silicone paste is a little bit more expensive as well. So I guess it really just depends on what you want to do. But essentially any type of lubricant that won't just wash off or melt away once the brakes heat up, because that's what they do. It's friction, right? You step on the brake, it causes friction, makes you stop. I'm gonna go right on the ear right here. Pretty much anywhere where the caliper is gonna be touching up against the pad, I'm applying a little bit of this lubricant. And that's just because it's gonna help with vibration dampening and help keep moisture out from in between there. So that's always nice. We've got our little slider pins here. I'm just gonna grab a big glob apparently. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. Just gonna go right along like this. You don't necessarily need to get any on the threads. It's not about the threads so much as just the smooth part of the metal. I didn't mention, but I did clean up the sliders so they're not all pitted and corroded and full of gunk. I cleaned them up with the wire wheel real quick so they looked good. Now we can reuse them. So like I said, the long one goes in along the top. Just get that in. I like to give it a little twist as I'm going here. That just helps make sure I get the lubricant going all the way around. Super important. Here we are. They're starting to come through. Just give them a little push so they're pretty much flush. That way there they won't get in the way. Now, I'm gonna grab our pads. Leave that there. Here's our pads. Remember we have the outer pad, which has the little slot. And then we have the rear, or the inner pad I should say, which has the area that presses into the piston. So I'll start with the inner pad. I'm gonna bring it in, line it up with the piston. You might need to squeeze in the little ears for the pad because they're just waiting to do their job, which is to hold on to the piston so they can't just slide around. That holds in there pretty good. It's not flopping around. That inner pad is good to go. Grab your outer pad. This one, for right now, is just gonna go in here. Let's see if I can get we got little tabs. So the tabs are, you know, they're trying to hold on to the caliper right now. So you just gotta really kind of give it a good squeeze. Anytime now. Oh yeah. Booyah. A little bit of pressure. All I did really was I tried to kind of wedge it, get one side coming through, and then I came through from this side, essentially on the back side of this, and pressed on this ear so I could squeeze at the same time, pop it through. Give it a little wiggle. Nothing's moving. We're looking good. So we're just gonna take our 1A Auto brush here, clean up our bracket. This one's really not in bad condition, so shouldn't require very much service. If you have large chunks of anything or grooves coming across here where the pad might get caught, you could just use that other tool there that I showed you earlier. This puppy right here. And just kind of meow, 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 meow. Something like that will do a good job. But for what I'm dealing with, this looks really good. I'm just gonna clean it up. So we've got our bracket. Just get this right over here. We've got our 2 bolts. It's up to you if you wanna go ahead and use some thread locker on them. We'll leave it up to you. I'm not gonna get mad at you. Stuff like this, I like to use a little dab, but it's your prerogative. You do you, boo-boo. I'm gonna snug this up. Bottomed out. Bottomed out. Let's torque it down. This is gonna be 2 steps. 26 foot-pounds. Here we are, which as you can tell is not very much at all. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna bring this to the next step, which would be an extra 60 degrees. Okay, so now we're gonna take this, so the line matches up with our 60 degrees there. Which apparently is super tight. I've never seen, yeah, looks good. All right, so 60 degrees. We'll do the same to the top one. Just get our caliper on here now. Should just slide right over. The pads sit right into the bracket. That feels nice, very nice. I'm gonna take my 7mm Allen head. Just gonna see if I can get it started in here. If it feels like it's getting tight prematurely, it's probably cross-threading in. So, you know, use your best judgment. Okay, it feels like both of these are started in at this point. Just gonna go ahead and snug that. Come up here. I'm gonna do the same thing to this one. Tight, tight. Let's move along. So we've got our little covers. We'll just make sure we put those back over this. They're easy to forget. Okay, so we've got our little clip here. There's our little piton. It's gonna go inside there, okay? This area right here is gonna go right underneath and right underneath there. So start with whichever side you want. Get your center lined up and then just bring this down, slide it in there. It's gonna mess with you a little bit. You definitely want to make sure that your piton goes in through here. And just give this a little shake like that. I can see it coming right through right there. So that looks good. This is underneath here where it's supposed to be, and that's where it's supposed to be. Awesome. Let's move along. Okay, so that's it for the brakes. We got that all done. To do the other side of the vehicle, you just do the same exact procedure. Easy peasy. All we have left now to do is get the wheel on here and get it torqued up, and down the road we go. Okay, so now to make it easier to get the wheel up on here, where we don't have the lug studs that are sticking out and you put your wheel up on, and it just kind of holds the wheel nice and easy for you. You don't have to stand there and hold it forever. Volvo decided to make it fun and interesting and, you know, make you work your muscles a little bit. Well, 1A Auto sells this awesome tool, and basically all these are is they're gonna give you a lug stud. So when you're putting your wheel on, you just slide your wheel right over this, and it's gonna kind of hold it there. So you don't have to sit there and try to muscle it the whole time while you try to line up the holes and put your lug stud in, or lug bolt. So I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna grab my wheel, bring her right over. Hold on to one of my lug nuts. Just gonna bring this up, slide it right over that. Boy, oh boy, that made it easy. So now we just take our lug bolt, put our wheel up against there, start this in, hopefully. I should have grabbed one of my sockets. It would have made my life a little easier here. There we are. And even though I was holding the wheel steady that whole time, I didn't have to have my whole body holding it, try to line it up while I'm staring into the hole and put this through. Thank you, 1A Auto. So we'll just start all these lug nuts in, and then we'll bottom them out, torque them down. Okay, we've got all the lug nuts bottomed out. Now we'll just bring the vehicle back down so the wheel's touching the ground, but without full force of the vehicle's weight on the wheel. And then we'll torque down these lug nuts. So here we are, friends. We've got our torque wrench out. It's set to 103 foot-pounds. I have my thin wall 19mm socket because there's limited space to get in between these lug bolts and the wheel. When we tighten these down, we're gonna go in a star pattern. Here, 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 here. And then if we decide to go around again, we'll do the same thing. But anyway, the reason for going in a star is essentially so as we're going around, if the wheel's cantered a little bit, it won't get stuck that way, and maybe the torque wrench thinks it's torquing it down to 103 like it's supposed to be, but it's a little bit cocked off to the side. Then you drive it down the road, hit a bump or whatever, everything starts loosening up, your lug bolts come out. Long story short, just tighten them in a star pattern. There we are. I always like to go around twice. Doesn't cost me anything, doesn't hurt me any, and it's a small price to pay for safety. Okay, all torqued up. Great job, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1AAuto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.